right? Interior of the cloud. Once again, the focus of technically, on a technical level, the focus of this part is to control the edges, right? What kind of edges do I want? So I need to create some density, and I want to have some hard edges, and I want to have some soft edges. I'm going to control my soft edges by adding water. Because I have already dried the other part of the painting, now I can expand past the edge, and I don't have to worry about damaging or activating the blue part of the painting. It's like that other part of the painting doesn't exist.
So you can paint in here if you want. You don't like it.
Lots of freedom because of it. It's still a little race against time when we're doing it, but still, it can be done. So I'm just going to start. That way I don't have to fret.
I like the way you start, Steve.
Fret.
Just get right in it.
Fret
It's
against.
Like, no,
I don't want to fret about making it perfect. I just want to get going. Right. I want to get going.
So when you're doing the rules, if we do bigger than 5 by 7, that's going to count for like 3 or 4. Yeah, right.
That's what I mean. She says
inches.
And
how many inches a week?
Have you seen this crazy group?
No. But I am now. I see you for who you really are.
Who, us or
yeah,
Sue?
You.
Oh dear.
You always try to blame me.
Oh yeah, it always happens. I know.
So, every once in a while, I gotta keep, just like if I was making a bead, I gotta keep this moving. If I don't keep it moving, I'll get a little hard edge in the middle, and I'll have to do things like try and spray it or something to reactivate it. It becomes a problem, right? I want some activity inside of the body of the painting, right? So I would like for it to not all be filled like a block, or as I like to jokingly say, like a lollipop or a candy bar, right? So a little bit less water. Why? Because I want it to run a little bit less in the bottom, right? And then it goes there. So we were starting to get it. Sometimes I will do what? Spread scissors.
Okay.
Why? Because it's soaking up the paper. It's soaking up the water, and I need to have enough to keep it going. So this kind of painting, when we do it on a sheet this size, oh yeah, that's a little race against time, right? If we do them smaller, then it's easier. So I sprayed it up there, just any old space, it doesn't matter. I just want it to sort of smoosh into it, right? And then over here, that's supposed to be my clean brush. I'll have some little billowy, right, kind of hard-edged clouds over there, and I'll soften up
It's looking so nice already.
part of it. I already know you gotta get cracking on the bottom, or it'll dry up. You know, it's kind of empty over here, so I'm going to actually go in here with a little bit. I'm going to try and connect it a little bit. I just want to take it off the page, right? Sometimes I get a little edge because maybe my brush is dirty. I can, right? And now I can just spread outwards. And I can also, I'll have all those little hard edges will still stay like little hard edges, right? That doesn't matter. Now, while you guys were chit-chatting, I was mixing up a lot of paint. I still don't have enough.
Oh.
So, I thought, oh, I mixed up enough this time. No, I did not mix up enough this time.
It changes color anyway.
Yes, it does. But I have to mix up more now when I'm in the middle of painting. And that's harder,
The things are vinyl.
right? because things are drying. Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to make sure you've got enough mixed up when you're doing a big wash like this, and it's all consistent.
Quick, get a bead.
And all dry over here, so I just want a little variety, right? Now, when you tilt a little bit, it's going to make it move. And now I'm going to begin to play with the density of the pigment inside of it, just like we've been doing, almost no different. Right, I got some kind of coffee mixture, and I'm just going to go in and provide a little. That's because I was definitely not treating it like a bead. Remember when we did a bead on the first day? I mean, I was not quite treating it like a bead. I was definitely treating it like a tree or something, right? It was scruffy on the bottom. I am going to, I want to get that to sort of disperse, right? That's my goal there. So I don't want it to have a hard edge on the bottom. But I do want just a little bit of variety within the body of the cloud itself. So a lot of this will continue to disperse. It'll look like little undulations in the cloud, or things like that. It'll move around at first. It'll seem a little awkward, and then oftentimes, almost always, it'll gently paint itself, right? So I used ultramarine, blue, and burnt sienna. That means that they're going to separate and granulate, or flocculate is the technical term. And that means just that that I have a relatively even gray here, but on the paper definitely it warms up a little bit, right? The blues and the burnt siennas are separating. On the edge here, it's awfully dry. I gotta be careful. But I am totally all the same three things we were talking about earlier today. You know, how wet's my paper? Is it drying out? I'm still definitely checking. How diluted is my mixture, right? Is it a little bit thicker since I'm making a darker paint go in? And that's one of the things I was checking. How wet is my brush? Did I switch to a synthetic? Yes, right? Because I wanted to add in a little bit, but not too much. That kind of stuff. It's the exact same three basic concepts that we were working on earlier. I'm going to let that run a tiny bit while I paint. So down over here, we're going to paint the next little cloud. These are the ones in the distance, right? But I definitely switching between brushes, right? This is one of the things I wanted people to check. I'm definitely checking to see how wet my paper is. Is it still super wet, right? Little areas where it's not super wet. Down over here, I can tell is that eggshell I was talking about, right? Where it's moist. It was not shiny anymore, but it wasn't damp. It did have a little sort of sheen on it. You know, in painting clouds, little things happen like that, right? Little things you don't always anticipate. But that's okay. They're clouds. Excuse me. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Mainland phone.
We're getting there. Yep. So within this little cloud shape, I want to have a different color. I can pay attention. I want to have these clouds in the distance. So like I was saying, clouds in the distance become flatter, right? Getting pushed up by the heat off the land, and they become more like little pancakes in the distance as they approach the horizon. So I want to have that effect. goes away. And what I'm going to do is gently clean that out. That's going to go down, right? I'm going to take it to, it's kind of bluish, to the horizon line, and I'm going to go back in. So we're going to make a little blue in there. It'll look like sky, right? I'm measuring. It's close. There we go. Close. Sometimes I use tape. It's hard because horizon lines are one of the only things that we really give a damn about being straight. So sometimes it's worth doing it with tape, right? Because it's artificial, it gives a hard line, but at least you have a straight line, right? And then, yeah, I can do it still. Daub it off. Don't worry, we're gonna fix that up here. I want to get some banding, right?
Is this sky? That sky? You're back in the sky, right?
Yep, still in the sky. Moisten that up. I want to get some sense that the clouds are going across the bottom, that they're more than one row. Let's see if I can get it. Too much. And I might just need to leave it at that. So we have a cloud in the foreground. The foreground, when you're in the sky, is the top of the painting, right? That's bigger. And we have clouds as they approach the horizon that are flatter and smaller, right? For the sky, as we go down in the painting, it becomes the it becomes farther away. And this is going to run down into here. We're going to get little funny, interesting things. I'm going to leave it and let it do what it wants. Here. If I want to control it a little bit, flatten it out.
There's another one.
Yeah, oh, that's true. That's a little funny thing I do.